He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. I know he's got the whole world in his hands. My God's got the whole world in his hands.
Welcome to another episode of Living the Dream. I'm here today with an author, a motivational, inspirational speaker, a dynamic, all-around woman who does so many things. It's hard to particularly pigeonhole you or to put you in one particular category because you do so many things. Number one, you have a book, and that is the CEO's Playbook, which we'll expound on much later.
At 3.
But that's one of them right there. Also, as far as being a inspirational speaker, a minister, as far as a mentor to so many people. Not only do you mentor children, but you have so many adults that I've met, and they said, hey, you know, they refer to you as Mama Daria. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. So with that,
and you pretty much explained what you just said, and to our viewing audience, I'm a servant. And if you don't remember anything else about Daria Dillard Stone, I want you to remember that she is the servant. And that means that wherever God places me, wherever he puts me, I'm going to try to shed some light or lift someone in that place, okay? And the thing about it, it's hard sometimes to lift myself because I have life challenges just as well as anyone else. But I learned that you cannot practice what you cannot preach and not practice. So I learned how to encourage myself. And that's something that I do. Conversations of Courage is one of the podcasts that I do. And it just talks about, what do you say to you when you are just with you and you're going through, when you're struggling, what do you say to you? And what I've done and tried to do is to tell myself that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I know that might sound corny to a non-believer, but that's where we have to stay. And I am an author, co-author of 3 award-winning books, and God blessed me with that opportunity. And what happened was, I had been preparing after my husband died in 2007 to, like, what is my new normal? What is Daria going to do now? The kids are grown and they're gone. The husband dies. I realized in 2007, I had never, ever not taken care of someone. So my success was always in my heart, is what I saw my family and my husband do. I got happy pushing them. I got happy seeing them succeed. Yes, I was volunteering. I was in things, and I was taught as a child that God wants us to be above average. So I was always taught to be above average. So you go the extra mile. You do more than the other students. You do more than the other workers. But when my husband died, I had to learn who I was because I had never met this person. I had no idea I had such an entrepreneurial spirit in me. I would love to be the boss. I would love to make my passion my paycheck. My passion is serving people, helping parents with educating their children, helping married couples stay married, helping divorced couples move on, helping those individuals that may have been addicted, come from a dysfunctional families, which all of us have. But it's just life gets to a point in us where we think that it's too big for us to handle. And what I want to share is some of the things that hurt me just so they could help me. So I'm not ashamed to tell my story. The guilt and shame, Jesus paid it all on the cross. So just make sure I tell people, if you're going to tell my story, you don't have to embellish it. Just tell it like I told it and keep it 100. So, Daria is 69 now, and I'm loving it. I'm a seasoned saint. I'm not a senior citizen, but if that's what you want to call me, that's fine. I just have learned how to take my lemons in life and make lemonade. But I would not be able to do that without the Lord in my life. I'm telling you, there is nothing I cannot do. What do I want to do it? Do I want to go through challenges? Do I want to see how much I'm going to be tested? No. But I do know at the end of the day, when it's just me and the Lord, He's already said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. And I want you to tell that to other people. In fact, I want you to be able to go into the marketplace, not hide behind the walls of a building, but go into the marketplace and let people know that I do deliver, that I do direct, that I do order, that I do represent, that I still stir up gifts, that I'm still the great I am. Let them know that even while you crying, Daria, let them know that I have never given up on them, and I refuse to let them give up on themselves. So the Lord is the strength of my life. He is. Whom shall I fear? Well, Daria used to fear a whole lot of things, but sometimes it's those scriptures that keep me going. So being a minister, motivational speaker, international now, because I've been to the Bahamas twice. Those are things that God had already orchestrated and destined for me when I was in my mother's womb. Did I know that? No. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Okay. Now let's start first with as an author. How did you come about writing your first book? Was there any interpretation, as far as nervousness or self-doubt at that time?
The book, I wrote I co-authored my first book in 2016. So that's only been 4 years ago. But I'm telling you, when God has His hand on your life and the things in your life, it just moves so fast. Basically, I was in the right place at the right time. A lady named Jeannie Porter, who I had got to know and learned to love when I joined Women in Business Networking, which is a program now of the Better Business Bureau. She is the founder of Women in Business Networking, which she started, I believe, in 2008. I joined in 2011. Because of that connection, when God led her to write her first book, she told me that He told her to find 20 other women on different topics that she had met and known and gotten close to that would want to write this book with her. And I was one of those 20. Because I had already 5 years ago started going to Valerie Lewis Coleman, who is a reputable author, editor, publisher, dear friend, one of my prayer warriors. I went every chance I could to all of her workshops about starting a business, writing a book, self-publishing a book, getting your LLC, being prepared for success. So if it does happen, you don't go, oops, I ain't ready. And I listened to her. I'm a lifelong learner. I love learning. I love it. I love every day I add a new word to my vocabulary. I've been doing that since my children were little. But little did I know, Greg, that taking her courses for 5 years before I even met Jeannie would prepare me to co-write this book the way it did. So when Jeannie asked me, I was honored. And because she's talked to me and we've had intimate conversations, she said, what do you think you would like to write on? I said, fear. I need to write about fear because as women, we can put on a good show. Oh, we can dress up, but we messed up. We can act like everything's fine. We got it all together. But that fear that we never let surface will haunt us for the rest of our life if we don't call those things that be not as if they were. You have to say when you're scared that you ain't scared. You have to say when you're weak that you're not weak. You have to really believe that your words have power. And I had learned that through tribulation, through divorce, through death, through addiction. I mean, I had learned that facing my fear showed me through God how much power that he gives me that I was not using. So when Jenny asked me, I'm like, I'm honored and I'll do that. What I learned was how to do it better, how to put my story in a way that is marketable now. It's not in my journal. It's not a testimony that I give at church or something that I say at a women's retreat. I had to now learn how to market and brand and to contain and compartmentalize and to, I learned so much. And so because I was prepared when the opportunity presented itself, I jumped in both feet. And I met some more authors from all over the world, 20 other women. And it started there. And then I started taking classes I joined the Transform Mastermind group because Alina Rarick, who is the founder and CEO of Transform Mastermind, a good Christian young woman, she has dreams and aspirations, and her dreams are not to go get people that are not wanting to dream, but she's going to get people who dream but never thought they'd have the tools because they didn't have the money or the resources or know the right people. So she seeks people sort of like I do. I want you who don't believe that you can to show you that you have to. And first of all, but you got to learn what to do. What is it that you want? You just can't want money, Greg. You just can't want, I want houses. I want to be out of debt. I want it. No. Why do you want it? Why? I wanted those things so that I could help people. I want to be a philanthropist. And the thing is, I am. Based on what I can do, I've always given. So a lot of times things we say we don't do because we're judging or measuring our success by other people, we really have done. So when I was given the opportunity to write the book, it took 4 or 5 writings for Alina to edit and say it the way I wanted it said. But when she did finally finish, I realized she had to tap in to my spiritual man in order to write it with perfection, but not to change none of the content where it would change the story and the message I was trying to give. She did it so well. I called her. I said, lady, I have never met you, but it is obvious that God's hand is on you. I'm crying because I'm looking at what you did, what you changed, but it's still what I said. And I was fascinated by that. And so I trusted her. And then through that group, another lady, Holly Porter, I met, and she's in Utah, and she was doing a collaborated book. She asked me to be a part of that. It was called 40/40 Wisdom, Women Over 40 with 40, I think it's Women Over 40 Sharing Their Wisdom. That's what it was, volume 2. And then after that, here it is. Alina gets ready to publish another book, and she's like, CEOs always have to face their fear. Hold on, something just came in.
Okay.
I'm on my cell phone. Hold on. Can you still see me?
Oh, no. I see your avatar.
Okay.
Okay,
back.
you're back. You're back.
Calls or something, because on my phone, my laptop is not in a good place, so I wanted to use my phone.
Okay.
So, wait, I don't want to keep saying long story short, from 2016 to 2019, it was like what would normally take people years to do, God allowed me to do it in those 3 years, and it's such a short amount of time. And I was learning as I went. As I was learning, I was holding group sessions via the internet, in my home, meeting at the library, with other people, men and women, boys and girls, to tell them, you need to start now thinking about being an entrepreneur. And this is what you do. This is how you get started. Don't ever let anybody tell you you can't. I don't care what your situation is, what your zip code is now, what your mom or dad did or didn't do, has nothing to do with your tomorrow. So whatever your today is, I'm a witness. And a lot of people go, Miss Daria, you got it together. You never had no problems. I'm like, oh, that's what I thought you thought. And then I share my personal testimony. So, and the 3 daughters God gave me, that was my biggest success. Raising those 3 women, first of all, to know that they are gifted and that they have a purpose. Know the Lord, and then go after whatever it is you want to go after. They now give back to me what I gave them, to push me and encourage me, to let me know, Mom, we're here for you. We've always been here. And my grandson is 10 now, and he says to me a lot, you just don't act like a grandmother. You're doing everything. Are you really a grandmother? And I said, well, how does a grandmother act? I mean, in your mind, what is a grandmother supposed to do? Then my oldest grandchild, my first grandchild, she's now an entrepreneur. That spirit. She's a wellness coach. She's a international yoga instructor. And she recently worked for Ralph Lauren in styles and procurement, design. She graduated, all of them graduated from public school. Except graduated yet, my grandson. In fact, I have 4 grandkids, since I'm on that subject. Deja's 26, I believe 26. Kemet is 23, 24. No, Deja's 27. Kemet is 24. Braylon will turn 18 July the 31st. And then Trenton will be 11 September the 9th. The love of my life. I mean, I know my kids gave me energy, but to be able to live, to see your legacy, to see your seed, and to know that they look at me and I look to them for wisdom, we learn from each other, it's nothing but a blessing. It is a blessing. So it happened. I wasn't afraid when it came, Greg. I was excited because I had this comfort level that the little bit that I did know, now it's gonna work to get me further to where God was already taking me. So yeah, I wasn't afraid. Now I'm ready to write my own book. And I started doing that since I've been here, because I learned by being at home this long. And since we're doing this taping, doing the quarantine, I really need to let the
Your camera went out.
yeah, somebody's trying to
Okay.
as long as I'm at the hospital, then I'm fine.
Okay.
But being here in this season during this coronavirus 19, I realized, you know what? You've been busy, Daria, and you've done some great things. You've done some good, but you're really too busy to be successfully busy. Because I look at, I do this, I do that, I do that. But Daria, the Lord showed me in my quiet time every day, He's showing me clarity. He's showing me clarity, courage, and compensation. Clarity, courage, compensation. I need for you, Daria, to tell that message. Clarity. You need to know just what you really need to hone in now. You don't have to be all over the place no more. What is it that you really want to do? I really want to minister. And I don't want to minister inside a wall. My platform, God already told me, is the world. So I don't have a clue where He's going to send me sometime, but I'll go. And then the clarity will bring me more courage, because now I'm not giving you a piece of me, giving them a piece of me. And that's what I've been doing. It's not bad, Greg. It's not bad. But I'm learning, because doing it God's way, not looking for compensation, it's going to come, because grace and mercy follows me, right? It's going to come.
Yes.
What are your motives for wanting to make money? When I talk to people, most people, their motives, even believers, is not to serve God at a higher level. It is to get this and to do that and travel and that. Nothing wrong with that, but that's not how I'm wired. That's not. Yeah, I thought about that when I was younger. Don't get me wrong, but my wisdom tells me, no. There's something better than stuff. There's something better than you knowing my name and with titles behind my name. There's something better than that, and I want more of that. So I'm here, and I'm learning that it's time for me to focus. I'm getting ready to have the 10th anniversary of Sharing Ministry. Sharing Ministries is the ministry God gave me when my husband died, and I was just suffering from grief. Went to grief counseling at Hospice of Dayton 2 years, twice a week. And out of that pain, one morning, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, God said, I need for you to start a website. And I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't tech savvy. This was 2008. He died in 2007. It took me 2 years to obey God, but He didn't leave me alone. 2010, I launched Sharing Ministries. Never had a website, but I had a Christian friend, Dan Barrett, who owns Spiritual Gifts Web Design. He's a developer, and he's developed websites for people all over the country and very well known here in Dayton. And when I told him God had given me this order, he said, I'm not surprised. I didn't know what to do, but he listened to me. He was able to put the website together, and it looked just like I wanted people to feel. It looked like I was inviting you, whether you drink beer, coffee, water, tea, wine. I want people to know I don't want to be in a box. I don't want to just work with this group, not that group. I don't judge. So I want people, whoever they are, to know, let's talk, and feel like when they click on that button to Sharing Ministries website, that they see that they can talk. It's like they feel comfortable, whatever it is, the color. I don't know what I want. I don't know what color, marketing and all that. Anyway, Dan helped me develop that. And as I met Alina, I'm in the process of now updating that website. But I was obedient, and I had not realized that I have lasted. I didn't just start a website ministry. I actually, without knowing it, I kept pressing my way, and I came up on 10 years. And you think I'm not going to celebrate God? He did. I was obedient, didn't know nothing, but I learned everything. And God put the right people in front of me. They were willing to teach me. They didn't charge me. Yeah, I had to pay sometime money I didn't have. I did that. But for the most part, people wanted to pour into me. And I appreciate that. 10 years, I've learned more, and I'm better now than I was then. But I say that to say this. Sometimes you don't have to know all the details. You just follow what the Lord tells you to do. That's really trusting. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine the disciples, when God picked them out, he went to their place of employment. They say, for instance, one was fishing, one was tax collector. All he said was, "Come follow me. I got something for you." Whatever he had, they wanted. They were curious, if nothing else, but they didn't stop following him. And that's the kind of that I have. I'm like, you know what? That taught me a lesson. Wherever I end up that I didn't think I was going to be, I'm like, okay, there you go again, God. You placed me here. And at the right time, I had to be ready mentally and spiritually to receive the gifts, because if not, I would think it's all me. Oh, girl, look at you. You doing it. No. I tell the Lord, if you don't get the glory when I tell my story, shut me up.
And that's a very interesting. One of the things that you just said, and that is that it's all about faith, and that is I hear so often, and that is that a lot of times people don't do things. They hold themselves back on doing anything because they overthink it, overanalyze it. And that is the belief that all the stars have to align before you move on something. And what you just mentioned, and that is, it's all about faith. And that is having the faith that believing that this is something that you saw and that you were given this gift, and you acted on the gift that you were given.
Exactly.
And your journey has been a remarkable journey. You didn't overthink it. And it kind of goes back to the fear thing. And that is false expectations appearing real.
Yeah,
false sometimes
fear. That's what fear is, right?
And sometimes it's that when you overthink something, that'll keep you from actually taking action on it. And at that time, that's when you fail right there, is when you don't move. And having the faith, like you said, and that is stepping out on faith, and that is that you will get. Has it been where you thought about your end result and you didn't overthink far as, okay, how am I going to get there? What's
I
that?
everything. I'm telling you, I'm just going to be 100. And
Okay.
it scared me. It did, because
Okay.
like I tell people, I looked at other folks and they had more than me. They were smarter than I thought. Okay. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I guess one time a girlfriend of mine I was close to, she had never been to my house. And so one day she said, she's an interior decorator. She said, I'm gonna come by and I'm gonna just do something. I'm gonna decorate one room in your house or two, just because I love you. And I wanted to help her get her business off the ground. So I said, hey, I can do that, but I gotta have something to talk about that you did. She said, well, let me come to your house and I'll do a room or something. When she pulled up in her, she had a Cadillac, and she married to a doctor. She pulled up in my driveway, and I came on in the house, Greg, and I'm waiting for her to come in. And it took her a while. And then she came in. She was walking real slow, so I yelled out the door, "I'm gonna call her Mary. Mary, you all right?" She said, "Yeah." And she was looking around. I said, "Do you see something in my yard?" "Oh, no, I'm coming." So she got in the house. She had her little kit and her measurements. And she said, "Daria, I need to be real honest with you. I hope you don't take this the wrong way." She said, "But I'm going to be frank. I assumed that you lived in a big house out in suburbia somewhere, because you carry yourself with such a majestic, humble, yes, but you are like a queen. You just have this presence. When you walk in the room, the whole atmosphere changes in a good way. And I never would have thought your humble abode would be so humble. I mean, this is my castle. I've been here 43 years. And she's turning red. She felt embarrassed because she said, "I'm just shocked that you come out the house every day with so much energy and excitement for life. And this is where you come from." I took it as a compliment. I hugged her. She cried. She said, I don't know. You deserve so much better. I said, but that's what you think based on what how you measure success. Let me say it that way. I should have a big house. That's what you just said. Based on you saying I'm successful, I should drive a certain kind of car. I told the Lord, I've seen too many people with power, with no purpose, and no purpose. But it's all about power. I don't want to be that person. I want to make sure my heart comes through in everything I do. Even if I stumble, even if I don't say the right word at the right time, judge me all you want. But I want my efforts to always make impact. I'm a transformational kind of person. I don't want my name on your letterhead just for the sake of being on your letterhead. I want to do something that will make an impact and change the situation better. So I looked at that and I'm like, Mary, I said, you know what? You just gave me a compliment. And I explained to her why. And she ended up doing 2 rooms, my kitchen and my bathroom, for me. That was back in the 90s. But I learned then, and I was fearful, don't get me wrong, if she was honest and bold enough to say it in the right way, what do other people think? Girl, Greg, I stopped caring what other people think, I think, when I was a teenager. But I'm not going to lie and say that once I began to interact and go places and God allowed doors to open, right here in Dayton, there is so much wealth. There's so much talent. There's so many good people. And these people are not concerned about my zip code, what I wear, what I don't wear. And God put me right in front of them. And because I am who I am, I need you to survive. You need me to survive. So whatever your gift is, let's put that gift together, make this bouquet, and make a difference in people's lives. And not just always look for money as compensation. I've gotten compensation. Yeah, do I need money? I know I do, Greg. I know I do. But the compensation that I've gotten far outweighs just what money can do. I mean, I'm serious, and you probably already know that. But I'm not gonna lie, I was scared to death of success. I was so afraid. And I'm going to tell you why. As a child, coming from a divorced family, and back in the day when divorce happened back in the 50s and 60s, it was like you had a black mark on your back. I mean, it was, kids couldn't play with you because, I mean, it was like that for me anyway. Families that were married now don't want to be with your family because they're divorced, and it was so ugly. And then I would hear relatives at dinners or family get-togethers, holiday time, call themselves whispering, you know, like, oh, I don't know what those kids gonna turn out to be. They've had such a rough life. Their mom and daddy, they probably ain't gonna be nothing. And then I had somebody that was supposed to be helping to take care of me tell me, you ain't gonna be nothing. Your mom and daddy ain't nothing. You ain't gonna be nothing. You ain't gonna be nothing. So I grew up with this haughty attitude that my grandmother told me. She said, baby, she said, that attitude you got, she said, God gonna use you, but he got to cut you down a buttonhole or two. I said, Mama, I'm gonna show everybody that I am smart and that I am, and I ain't gonna have nothing to do with my parents, and I'm gonna show. So I had this drive, but it was on the wrong side of God, okay? It was on the wrong side, and he showed me that. He said, all that is yours. You have not because you haven't asked, Daria, but you won't be able to handle what I got for you with that attitude. You will self-destruct. I've seen people that are successful, not just on TV, not just in their books that they write, that are successful, who self-destruct because they had done this, they were successful for the wrong reasons. Let me just say it that way. And I learned their mistakes, but I still had to work on this fear because it's like the higher the level, the bigger the devil. So I would be able to conquer.
I like that right there.
Higher the level, the bigger the devil. That's real talk. I would be able to conquer one fear right here at this level, and then God do this. Oh my gosh. And like I shared with you as one of my dear friends for so many years, and a brother that's a praying brother, a man of standard. I reached out to you when I had the incident happen with my mom. I knew who to ask to pray for me. In fact, I didn't even care. I asked people that I normally wouldn't ask, because God said, I need for you to really believe that the prayers of the righteous availeth much. Get on that phone, get text, let people know you hurting. This quarantine was bad enough, but to have my mom go in the hospital, I can't see her, that was a bit much. That I felt the walls caving in. I mean, I'm like, devil, trick no good. I knew to reach out for help. Years ago, I wouldn't have done that, my brother, because I wouldn't want nobody to know I'm coming apart. I'm not strong like y'all think. I'm coming apart. And God says, but don't forget the word I told you. When you weak, that's when I'm at my best, because I give you my strength. That didn't stop, but I just had to be reminded. I was having a moment, and that fear crept back in, and I began to doubt, because this flesh does what this flesh does. The enemy is, if you can get up here, everything else falls. I started aching, hurting, sciatica's flaring up. I hadn't had none of them problems. I knew then. I said, that ain't nothing but the enemy. Lord, help me fight a better fight, because I'm more challenged than I've ever been. To be in this quarantine, and I cannot see my mom. I couldn't even go follow the cruise when they picked her up. I was done, but not done in a way where I gave up on God. I was giving up on Daria. So I want people to know that just because you conquer one thing in life, and it could be big. I mean, I'm serious. Let me tell your viewing audience this. I tried to commit suicide. And this is something I thought I will never, ever talk about this. The people at the hospital in my family that knew, I was ashamed. This is in 1974. When I got divorced, my first husband got a divorce. It was rough. And I look back now, and God says, but if you believe that you're free and free indeed, somebody else needs to hear that. I didn't allow you to go through that, Daria, so you could be ashamed and feel guilty and feel embarrassed for the rest of your life. There are so many of us. The very thing that we think is shameful, the very thing that we hide, God said, I allowed that so that my name could be honored and you could get the blessing, because favor's gonna follow you when you tell them what I did, what I helped you do. You could, favor follows me, and that's why all these things have lined up. I get that. The enemy is mad. I should have been taken out when my mother was carrying me. She was 16. Her mother sent her to an unwed home in Indianapolis somewhere. She's supposed to give me up. She told me that story. I'm so glad she did. She finally told me a lot of things. But she climbed a barbed wire fence at 8 months pregnant because she said she wanted somebody to love her, and this baby, me, would love her. When mama told me that, I'm like, okay, that devil been after me long time. Long. So when God in his word tells us, I knew you in your mother's womb, everything that we go through, he already has made a way of escape. I just got to find my way. So I keep pressing. I keep pressing. He didn't say it would be easy. I know all of that. But this last turmoil, this last challenge, it's just been too much. But I can't forget his word. It comes up in my spirit. He never said it would be easy. He just said you would win. And he said he'd never leave you. And he hasn't. But I do know all of us in this quarantine, we have to learn something. First of all, God
exactly
is still in charge. And the thing is, Daria, guilty. I have put too many things above him. I give him my time, but it's at my convenience. Oh yeah, I got 30 minutes. I'll look at the word. Now, if I got to preach, it takes me 12 to 15 hours to study. But if I'm not preaching or teaching a group somewhere, I do read my Bible, don't get me wrong. But when I really looked at how my relationship needs to improve with my God, I looked at, yeah, but you went to that concert, you saved for that workshop, you made sure that you got your nails done, oh, you went and bought that outfit, just things that made me go, ouch.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anymore. I had idols. I don't care who you think you are, believers. I don't care how holy you think you are. Really let God take that spiritual flashlight that he has. And if you find something in me that's not right, it ain't no if. When you find something, take it out. So this quarantine has given God the opportunity. The busyness is not in my ear. It's quiet time. You talking about time out, world? We on a time out, and God put everybody there. The rich, the poor, red, black and white, red, yellow, all of us. Letting us know you're the one that made people above and beneath. You're the one that categorized my people. You're the one that person and that group, but not this group. You're the one that took sex and made it ugly. You're the one that made the music, the intellect that I gave you. I gave you those talents, but you used it for the world's benefit. So God said, look, the 7 spheres, government, education, media, religion, I'm coming after all of it. It belongs to me. And if you don't recognize it, then you better recognize it. Let me just put it that way. And I get excited, so I need to calm down, because I do. I get excited. I get excited because he's worth getting excited about.
Oh, yes, yes. And it's so true that what you're saying, and that is the quarantine, or this moment of standing still. This is a still moment right here. So it does provide us all an opportunity for us to reflect. And that's just real talk right there. So your journey has been a very insightful journey right there. And I think that for the viewers or someone that's going through their journey, that they can learn. And that's what this program is, because everybody's journey is different. Yes. But I believe that you do learn first from others right there. And as you mentioned, or you alluded to earlier when you first came on, and that is being a lifelong learner. And that is never getting to that point where you feel that you know everything, that there always is room for us for constantly learning something new. And at the same time, self-discovery.
I love I do. That says a lot, because it's like, you know how a baby, when they first discover they got toes and they think stuff, God, he still will do that for you. He'll show you something that you didn't even know you had, and he's been cultivating it. And Jeremiah 29:11 is such a favorite scripture, but I know that I really believe he knows the plans that he has for us. He knows exactly that we were going to fall down as many times as we do. He knew I was going to get afraid. He knew I was going to try to commit suicide. He knew that, what people said to me as a child would try to hold me back. But what I am charged to do is, wherever I go, I need to be a light. Wherever I go, if nobody's right, I need to try to be the right. And I need to stop giving God what's left of my day, of my time, and give him what's right. And a lot of us do that. We give him what's left. And I'm sorry. And any believer, especially, and those of us that may not have a relationship, you don't think you have a relationship with God. You don't know about Jesus. You don't know about, how that the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost works. You don't know none of that. God still got breath in you. He's still keeping you just like he keeping me. That's because whether you acknowledge that as your Father, he acknowledges all his children. It's just like, Greg, if I have a daughter, I get mad at her and say I'm not going to speak to her no more. She's still my daughter. That don't change. You can get mad at God all you want. And trust me, I've been there. But he already knows that. I get angry because I want to know the answers. Lord, you didn't meet with me before you did this or allowed this. And the thing is, he doesn't have to. Kirk Franklin has a song out now that it just speaks volumes to me. And it's called Jesus Did It Just for Me. Just for me. Just for me. It's like Jesus paid it all. That's an old, but this one it helped me the other day when I was struggling with what I was going through. And whatever it is, he says, like, I think a verse in the song says, you didn't talk to me before you made a decision or something like that. Just for me. It really wasn't bad, but it was just for me. I knew what I had, so I'd be all that you say. So I have to do it your way. I'm like, ooh, ouch, that's me. But he does that just for me. So when Tyler Perry put this challenge out on social media to sing, he's got the whole world in his hand. That little simple song is like my mantra. Now, I learned that as a kid, had no idea that it would envelop me and hold me together and say, I still got the whole world in my hands. It is all mine. So I want to be able to live and watch what he's going to do in this season. And I will never, ever go back to being normal. I hope the world doesn't go back to being normal. But everything in Revelation that it talks about, everything in the book, the Bible is basic instructions before leaving earth. It's coming to pass. And you don't have to know it from page to page, but whatever little mustard seed faith you have that's watching this, God can move mountains, help you move mountains just with mustard seed faith. I know I got more than mustard seed faith, but my trials have become much bigger. Where the enemy used to load up a water gun or 357, he's loading up cannons now. But apparently God says I'm ready, because I will fight to my last breath to do the will of God. And I understand that I will be attacked. That's just what the enemy is supposed to do. The people that work for the enemy, they own their job. They out, they cussing, they lie, they lying, they killing. I mean, that's what they do. It's the body of Christ that has been lacking, because we're supposed to go out. We're not supposed to keep building buildings. And a lot of people are in the building, but they're not in the body.
Right.
God ain't concerned about us being in the building. He wants us to be a part of the body of Christ, and he will use us to make things happen. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I can kind of switch gears here, and that is, tell us about the event that's coming up, and that's the Victory
Yeah, it's
Vision
Vision to Victory, 2020
Victory.
Vision Victory.
Okay.
The anniversary of Sharing Ministries. That will be on August the 8th, and that's as of now. I mean, things have changed. Plans are being altered as we speak. But as of now,
Okay.
it's still August the 8th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Dayton Metro Library in the Eichelberger Forum Room, which is a beautiful room. And it's for
Okay.
men and women. And the theme is She Never Gave Up. Sharing Ministries'
Okay.
10th anniversary, She Never Gave Up conference. And because men and brothers and uncles, they have women in their lives that they watched who never gave up. I don't want to be just catering to women. I want men to be able to come and bring their mothers, bring their daughters, bring somebody that they feel will be able to benefit from the victory and the vitality and the charge that I'm going to give everyone. The speakers that are going to be there are going to be dynamic. All of them are from Dayton. And all of these are women that I have known personally and professionally that I know never gave up in different areas. And I'm asking, yeah, I haven't put out anything as far as price, anything, because I don't want to talk about price right
Okay.
now, what's going on. But so far, it's still a green light.
Now, is this the first annual event, or
Well,
is this the first time?
a 10-year. Yeah, I've never done this. Yeah, and
Okay.
I don't know if it's gonna be annual. I just know that I gotta celebrate that God has kept me for 10 years and kept me good, and I've grown, and the ministry has grown far beyond what I ever thought it would be. I had no idea that it would turn out not just to be a website ministry, but people would actually contact me from Nebraska, Detroit, Washington, Georgia, and I would go to women's retreat. They pay for me and pay for me to come, pay for my flight because they said we watched your message on Facebook. People talk about social media. Social media is good as you are. If you're a nasty person without it, you're gonna be a nasty person when you own social media. But social media has helped me grow God's ministry, and I didn't see that coming. So yeah, I'm very excited. I'm humbly honored. If anything happens and it changes, of course, I'll let the viewing audience know. But August the 8th, Saturday, 11 to 3, I would hope to see you there.
Okay. Okay. And for my light went out. That's why all of a sudden it started looking so dark.
That's
but
okay.
but as for people to know more, tell us about your website. What's your
The
website?
website, okay, and I know you'll put this up too, so people won't have to remember what I'm saying, but it's www.sharing, SHARING dash ministries.com. And I'm working on the new website. It's not live yet, but you can still go to that website and you can see some of the things I've done, some of the testimonies, some of the people I've worked with, and get a great idea. And contact me. Let me know what I can do to serve you. I would love to. Let me know what
Okay.
I.
Now you are doing mentoring also, as far as once this quarantine and all of this stay in place is lifted. Where do you normally, do you do group mentoring, or how does that?
I do adult and student mentoring. Right now, I'm blessed to be the parent engagement liaison for Dayton Metro Library. And I run a
Okay.
program, Rock Your Homework, and it's for kindergarten through 12th graders and beyond. We've had parents who want to go back and get their GED or get a master's or associates. We have students that come from college because they're working on a particular project, they need help. And it's right now, it's at 2 libraries. The Northwest Library on Philadelphia and the Madden Hills Library, which is moving to their new location. It used to be on Germantown. But yeah,
Okay.
I do. Rock Your Homework is a program specifically for students who have homework in grades K through 12 and they need help. Parents can't afford a tutor, but they need that extra help. And that has been very successful. I've been there with the Dayton Metro Library, which is a wonderful organization to be a part of. The culture that they're building and nurturing is so amazing. It makes you want to do more. And we pride ourselves on making transformation and making impact. So we're there from 3 to 6, Monday through Thursday at those 2 locations. And then on my private consultations, I will meet with women groups, I will meet with couples, and a lot of times I'll mentor them either through their finances or through their, hold on, for some reason my battery is going. Whatever they need help. If I'm not the one, I'll get one of the people in my Transform Mastermind staff to mentor them in areas that I lack. I put it that way.
Okay. Okay. Now, you had mentioned something, mastermind. Do you train people on developing masterminds or?
The mastermind group at Transform International Mastermind Group, what we do is help people build their business, especially as an entrepreneur, new entrepreneur, or those entrepreneurs that've been out there a while, and for some reason they're just lagging. They can't seem to get any new clients. They can't seem to get momentum built back up. So we help them use different tools, and we show them how to do that. And then we support each other. So if nobody else gives you a review, some of your colleagues in Transform Mastermind will give you a review and use your services. So I don't help develop mastermind groups. I'm a part of one, and I would invite anyone to ask about that who wants to join, because it is an awesome group to be a part of.
And they can contact you via your website in order to find out more information.
Yes, yes.
All right. Well, I know I got to get these lighting things taken care of right here. I have to say, it has been a pleasure, as always, as far as having an opportunity to sit and talk with you, because as I mentioned before, and that is real talk by real people. And that is so, so important as far as in today's noise and all this clutter that goes on right here, is to actually hear that authenticity coming far as from someone.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you so much for asking me. Thank you so much for always being my friend. And thank you for being who you are and doing the work that you continue to do in the community.
And again, thank you. And thank you, everyone that's out there. As always, when we end this program, we normally use this one quote by Harley Davis. And that is, when you're writing the story of your life, be sure that you're holding the pen. And till the next time, we want to hear your story.